We, on the other side, on the western border, I hope that the governance challenges in Afghanistan, the recent transformation gets settled, because it is pivotal for us as far as our connectivity with the Central Asia is concerned. And this is a wholesome region.
I know what you're thinking.
And this region has historical connectivity, socially, culturally, with one another. I was on a recent visit to Uzbekistan, and I discovered there are around 3,000 plus words of Uzbek language in Urdu.
The quality of that information process is so important. So our role,
I do not see that kind of amalgamation with Sanskrit or with other probably South Indian languages. But there are languages of Central Asia, be it Turkmen, Tajik, Uzbeki, and others, which has deep impact on our language, on our culture, on our poetry, on our storytelling. This is one the way people dance, the way they celebrate their folk music, so on and so forth.
Honesty in other areas,
you do see that identification and commonality with these people. And then there is a huge economic potential in terms of energy, in terms of human services interacting with each other, and offering itself as a manufacturing hub to the outside world, to the Eastern Europe, to the Western Europe, to the rest of Asia. Does Pakistan want that India should be excluded from all this story? Not at all.
Documented one.
Not at all.
The non-documented.
We do see the opportunity and benefit of having trade and connectivity on the eastern side as well. But for that, in order to realize, Pakistan does feel that every individual and nation has to interact in a dignified way.
The Sassanians and the rest of the Persian Empire.
You can't beg to have trade with someone.
Era has its
begging is not an option.
And those values,
and we definitely will not.
They determine
trade and economic activity has to be done through mutual
political ethos, economic ethos.
India is a large economy. It is with a huge population. But if it wants to transform itself into a growth rate between 8 to 10, it has to ensure that it receives unsustainable cheap supply of energy. Until and unless it is not there, I don't think so. Those lofty economic indicators can be attained. And this region, this corridor, is one way, one option of ensuring to supply that energy supply, unsustainable energy supply to them. We are quite ready. We are quite open to such ideas. But
this is Prime Minister Kakar, who was addressing the special session of Mangala Dialogue. He said he's honored to be a member of IPRI's board.
And he said it's an
important part that we play our role in opinion making.
With different individuals, corporate sectors,
to the
countries,
to the government,
and everywhere, anywhere, it has come with a single result.
Our region. We probably had, when I say,
yet to see an exception, and that result is filial.
Family.
No might, doesn't matter how big you are in size, how mighty you are militarily or economically, if you are experiencing hubris,
rules to Ottomans and Seljuks,
the certain recipe is disaster.
Side, if there is another side of particularly,
I'm not trying to be a history teacher.
And when this generally more or less
included examine this statement can go through the books of history and find it for themselves.
Deeply impacted.
And if the neighborhood is going through that, I do not see that it could be converted into an economic
provided the foundation of this modern world or current civilization,
the whole of the region.
Which is primarily
we are quite happy by that they are having a good trade relation with China, despite their border disputes,
denying
despite
the fact
their differences
that they have done some marvelous
of the world.
Achievements.
But they are still doing trade.
Account of material progress.
Pakistan has not shied away from it.
At the same time,
yes, we will examine, we will look into it, that what sort of a trade is beneficial for us.
Conflicts.
It would not be free for all, it would be a conscious decision.
Which in my opinion primarily is related to...
It is our right to examine our own interests, it's their right to examine their own interest. And have a framework, if it comes to that, of having good economic relations with one another.
And political.
But for that, we do need to speak out about the conflicts which exist
of a new governance arrangement.
Until and unless we do not address that, Pakistan feels that having normal relations with
the agreed narrative of the global
the current regime would be very challenging. I won't call it impossible, but it's very challenging. The politics of Hindutva is another challenge. People are very much interested in
sanctions behind
the radical views of Al-Qaeda and Daesh and other Islamic radical entities. But I am surprised that how do they choose to ignore
the decolonization almost finalized,
which primarily is altogether different to the religion of Hindus.
Post-Second World War.
We don't have any issue with the religion of Hindus. Pakistan has its own minority of Hindus, more or less more than 20% in the province of Sindh.